Welcome back into the Dynasty Nerds YouTube page. I'm Garret Price, and I have a very unique show for tonight that I am super excited about. If you have followed along for a long time, this might look like the Dynasty Rewind show. And if you followed along for a really, really long time, this might look like, what was it, the Fantasy Rust Belt? Dynasty
The
Rust
Rust
Belt?
Belt Dynasty Football Podcast. 3 episodes, none of them ever got published.
None of them got published. Yeah. I didn't even realize that part. Even better. But I am here with two of my very good friends, Chevin Noone and Mike Bowers. How you guys doing tonight?
What's up, Garrett? Good.
Doing great. It's good. I'm happy to get the band back together. It's always a good time. It's where it all started. So for me, it's always a good time to get back with the boys, man. I love this.
Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. And yeah, you know what, Chev? I agree. It is great to get us back together. It's been I can't remember when the last time it was just the three of us
It's been a minute
on a pod together. So this is fun, long overdue, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks again for having me and having Chev.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm excited about this. Mike hit me up 4 years ago now, probably.
Pre-COVID.
So actually, fun fact, this month is the third birthday of the Dynasty Rewind. We published our first podcast on May 4th, 2019.
There we go.
And that podcast still has yet to hit 100 downloads, in case anyone's wondering. So, but after that, it's gotten a little bit better. So.
Well, that's good. But yeah, so Mike hit me up and he was like, "Hey, got this show I want to do. Do you want to do it with me?" And I was like, "You know what? You seem like a good guy. I don't know how much time I have, but yeah, like let's do it." And I was like, "But there's one condition. We got to bring my homie Chevin along as well." And you're like, "Who?" And I was like, "Trust me, you'll love him." And so Chevin Noone hopped in the picture, and he's been a star ever since. So it has been fun. But yeah, these are two of the best guys in the industry. And today we're going to be talking about day 3 prospects. Yes, the ones that we all love to talk about, but are rarely ever relevant. And in fact, with that theme, we're going to be playing a game on this episode. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to be naming a day 3 prospect. Chevin will let me know if he believes that this player is fantasy relevant in 2 years, if he is a bench warmer in 2 years, or completely irrelevant. Then Mike will do the same thing. They'll both give their own little rationale, and I'll tell you kind of what I think as well. And we'll go through and we'll get through as many players as we can in about 20 minutes or so here. Sound good, guys?
Let's get it.
All right, cool. First one of the first, actually the first day 3 prospect off the board, Damien Pierce. Chevin, fantasy relevant, bench warmer irrelevant. What do you think?
In 2 years, I don't think he's going to be relevant. I'm really worried he's going to get that Michael Carter treatment where gets drafted. He's the guy right now, but they're going to draft another guy later on, probably next year with this class that's coming out. It's pretty strong. So I'm going to go with irrelevant in the next 2 years.
Got him. All right, Mike, what do you think?
I know.
I feel like he's going to be a bench warmer. Like maybe the Houston Texans realize that their needs are much more extravagant than just a running back, but he's a guy that you can't quite bring yourself to put in the starting lineup every day, or every week. Maybe there's a Marlon Mack that's there hanging out, or another guy, so maybe he's just getting the Keyshawn Vaughn treatment and he's just hanging out on your bench for a little bit too long. And that's all it is. He ends up being thrown in trades and just kind of hanging out, not really doing much. But love him for this year. Flip him as soon as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not far off. I guess I'm a slight bit more optimistic, but I'm kind of more on the bench warmer side as well. I think we're going to see a Jordan Howard career trajectory where he's relevant right away and then just slowly fades into obscurity as the years go on. That's my call for Damien Pierce. Let's take another running back in this class. And Mike, we'll have you start this time. Zamir White out of Georgia. He's now playing for the Las Vegas Raiders. How are we feeling on Zamir?
Yeah, so Zamir was an odd one. Once they declined Josh Jacobs' 50-year option, then they drafted Zamir White. Everybody went just kind of ballistic on him, like they did when Cook got drafted by the Bills. So I'm going to say that I think he's going to be relevant. Now, that being said, how relevant will he be in a New England Patriots style offense in Las Vegas? That's the question to be seen. But I think he's relevant enough that he could probably be a flex play on your fantasy roster. Granted that Jacobs doesn't re-sign and that he does move on.
Sure.
So a lot of times these options get declined and they extend the guys. Although that's not usually the case with running backs. It could still happen.
Chev, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think he can be relevant in that offense, especially if Jacobs leaves. I mean, he's a big bruising back, and I think he can be somebody that gets in the end zone a good amount. And that's what you're looking for in fantasy. You want to find those guys that get those touchdowns. We've seen Latavius Murray be successful doing that, and we've seen plenty of other guys doing that as well. So I'm going to say he stays relevant for the next 2 years.
Absolutely. We're 3 for 3. He is absolutely going to be relevant. Not only is he going to be relevant, he is going to be better than Jonathan Taylor, better than Ezekiel Elliott ever was.
I don't know about that.
Probably the greatest running back of all time.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So there's that. Okay, maybe not quite that far, but I do think he's going to be a really good back. I think he will be able to be a solid RB2 for fantasy football teams. All right,
Zamir White to Garret is what I heard.
That's what I'm hearing too.
That's right. That's right. Give me all of it. All right. Let's go over to the receiver position for a second. We'll hop back and forth a little bit. Calvin Austin, a little bit of an undersized receiver out of Memphis, ended up getting drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chev, we're back to you. How you feeling on Calvin Austin?
Yeah, I think the next 2 years, I think he's going to be relevant. We've seen Pittsburgh draft wide receivers late in drafts, and I mean, that is just what they do. Their MO is get those guys late and just build them up in the next few years, but they don't pay the guys. So that's why I think Claypool's going to be gone. I think Deontay Johnson could be gone as well, and that gives him time to slide into that role in 2 years. So I'm going to go with relevant. I think he's got a good opportunity there, and I just love what the Pittsburgh Steelers do with their wide receivers. Man, it just seems like it's a golden landing spot for those late round wide receivers.
Mike, what do you think?
Is best ball relevant an answer? Because I think that's what he's going to be. He's just, and Chev, I agree with you to a point.
Yeah.
They don't pay their receivers. They're happy to use them up for their first contract, let them walk. He's just, to me, he's too small to handle the NFL game. Maybe other than he could be a real splash play every now and again, especially playing in the AFC North. It's a tough division. Garret, you know that, being a Browns fan. I don't see it, but he's a guy that in best ball leagues, I'm happy to take a flyer on. You know what? If he's a UDFA or a 5th round draft pick, I'm fine with that as well. I'm just not going to take him too high thinking that he's going to be something spectacular.
Yep.
So you saying bench warmer? You saying like where are you at on it?
You're right. Best ball relevant wasn't actually an answer. So we're just going to, I don't want to say irrelevant.
That's not an option.
We'll go with bench warmer here then.
Okay. All right. Bench warmer it is. For me, I'm going to say relevant. I like Calvin Austin. For somebody that's undersized, I thought he had some great moves off the line. They used him outside way more than you would have thought for a guy of his size in college. And Chev, I thought you had some great points about how the receivers develop the receivers. 100% agree. I think they do find a way to make this guy relevant. Now, is he ever a star? No, I don't think so. I think that's highly unlikely, but I do think he will end up being a relevant player for fantasy purposes as a flex type of guy, bye week fill-in, that kind of stuff. All right, let's go over to that guy was actually a day 3 or day 2. He just shouldn't have been. So never mind. Hold on. All right. So we'll go with Kyle Phillips. Kyle Phillips, wide receiver, Tennessee Titans. He played at UCLA. Mike, we'll start with you. How are we feeling on Kyle Phillips?
You know, I'm kind of back and forth on Kyle Phillips. Honestly, I wasn't the biggest fan watching his film from UCLA. I know he's a bit of a workout warrior. That being said, I'm going to say bench warmer, just because if Ryan Tannehill is the starting quarterback, I don't see him being relevant. If they do move on to Malik Willis at some point in time and they lean away from such a heavy running game, I could see him being relevant. But there's still questions there. We don't know if or when Malik Willis will be the starting quarterback for the Titans, 3rd round draft pick. So for right now, I'm just going to play it safe. I'm going to say bench warmer.
Yeah, and with their offense, the way it's run heavy, and I don't know if he's going to be a guy that can be supported by what the amount of attempts that he's going to get in a season. So I'm going to go with bench warmer as well, just on that alone. And if Malik Willis is the starter, we'll probably see him rush a good amount as well in that offense. So throw that in with the running back attempts. I just don't see a possible relevancy for him in that offense.
All right. What was Adam Humphries? Was he bench warmer? Was he relevant, irrelevant? Whatever Adam Humphries was, that's what Kyle Phillips is. So wherever you thought, whatever you thought about Humphries, just ditto for Kyle Phillips. That's the role he's going.
There you go.
You know, it's actually amazing how much Adam Humphries I have across all my dynasty leagues, sadly.
All right, so was Adam Humphries relevant or no? I truly don't know the correct answer to that.
Honestly, I don't think Adam Humphries has really been relevant since he's been with the Bucs a while ago.
Yeah.
Right? It's been a while. We keep hoping that it's going to happen. It just
He's been a bench stash for a while, though, so I guess bench warmer's fair.
Yeah.
Humphries has been relevant on the Fantasy Gazette more than the NFL. I will say that.
They love that guy.
If you don't know who the Fantasy Gazette is, go look him up on Twitter.
It's a good time.
There you go. All right. Let's go to a tight end that is been well, I lied. He's not really been getting a lot of buzz. Just in my head, he's been getting a lot of buzz. But Daniel Bellinger, he is a tight end for the New York Giants. Relevant? No. Bench warmer? What are we thinking? Let's start with you, Chev.
Yeah, I'm going to go with bench warmer. I'm not even going to say much because I know Mike loves this guy, so I'm going to let Mike steal the show on Mr. Bellinger here.
So go ahead. It's not that I love him, but yeah, Chev, you said, all right, Chev said bench warmer. It's not that I love him.
I did.
I love his spot. I do love some of the aspects of what he brings to the game. There's Ricky Seals-Jones and Jordan Akins in front of him. So the competition isn't much. New York has a lot of questions right now. Offensive line, quarterback, even their wide receiving core has a lot of questions as well, even after drafting Wan'Dale Robinson. He could run screens really well, intermediate routes. He doesn't have to be a traditional inline tight end. So I like Daniel Bellinger's opportunity in New York. And Garrett, I know you always said talent over opportunity. And then I always came back with you need opportunity to showcase your talent. I think he's going to have that in New York. So I'm going to put him down as relevant. In 2024, that'll be prime for a third-year tight end breakout. And this is a guy that in every mock and draft I'm doing, he's either a fifth-round pick or a UDFA. So it's not costing you a lot to acquire him. Throw him on your taxi squad. Let him fester down there for a few years, and you might have something. And if you have anything and you don't like him, flip him.
I love taking tight ends in the 4th, 5th round, taking flyers on those guys, and Daniel Bellinger is one of my favorite targets, partly for the reason you said. And Mike, you're absolutely right. I'm a huge talent over situation opportunity guy. However, the one exception I'll make, the tight end position's weird. The tight end position is all about the offensive scheme and the quarterback. So I am in on Daniel Bellinger. I'm going to say he is relevant. All right. Switch to the quarterback real quick because I'm curious your guys' thoughts here. Mike, Sam Howell. Is Sam Howell relevant 2 years from now? Is he a bench warmer or is he completely irrelevant?
You could have bypassed quarterback here altogether with the day 3 guys. Right now, I have to say irrelevant. Bad draft capital, bad landing spot. I mean, he's the quarterback 3 right now in a really, really weird quarterback carousel room down there. Saw some people thinking that Sam Howell should have been the first quarterback off the board. Hate to say I was right, but I didn't see it. I'm going to say he's irrelevant. To me, he'd be perfect in the XFL, to be honest with you.
There you go.
So
Welcome back,
you
XFL.
said relevant first, but then you said irrelevant at the end.
Oh no, I said irrelevant.
Oh, okay. All right, irrelevant. All right, Chev?
Yeah, he'd be relevant in the XFL.
I'm going bench warmer. I'd like to think they keep him long enough for his contract to last out. So in 2 years, I'll say he's a bench warmer in the NFL. You got to love the pieces around them, though. I mean, they're throwing some wide receiver capital out there, so that's good for him. Unless they trade Terry McLaurin, then it's just going to go downhill there. So hopefully the Commanders can figure it out. They got Kamikaze Wentz there now, so we'll see what he can do.
I hope they don't figure it out.
This is kind of cheating, but he's either going to be a bona fide starter or like completely irrelevant, and there's nowhere in between is even humanly possible. Especially with the way the NFL is going right now, like you either have it or you don't, and you don't get a lot of opportunity like you used to get. So he's either going to be a starter or he's going to be nothing. Right now, I lean toward nothing, so I'm going to say irrelevant. But it's going to be drastic ends of the spectrum, and good luck figuring out which one it is. All right, let's go back to the running back position, and let's talk about Tyler Badie. Tyler Badie, running back, Mizzou, went to the Baltimore Ravens it was either the 5th or the 6th. What do you think about Tyler Badie?
Yeah, so I like Badie. I think he's got a nice little skill set. But going to Baltimore, I'm worried Lamar signs a big contract. He takes a rip in the running back production. I think J.K. Dobbins still has a lot of talent there, and they love to do 2 running backs. So I'm not really sure Badie is going to get the opportunity to do anything great. So I'm going to go with irrelevant. Even though I like the landing spot, gives him opportunity with players that just got off a torn ACL. They're probably going to start on the pup in the beginning of the season, training camps and whatnot. So he's going to have the opportunity. It depends what he's going to do with it, but I'm going to go with irrelevant in 2 years.
All right, Mike, what do you think? Tyler Badie, irrelevant? No?
Well, Gary, you and I have discussed Tyler Badie at length. But I'm going to go with bench warmer. And I agree with a lot of what Chev said. You know, Lamar Jackson dips into it, but he is in a good spot. Gus Edwards, I don't see hanging around too much longer. And that'll be right towards the end of J.K. Dobbins' rookie contract, right? So there's an opportunity here for Tyler Badie. To be honest with you, he's going to fill that Justice Hill role. Justice Hill, unfortunately, never was able really to fill, I think, what they wanted him to. So I don't hate this spot, but it's going to be one of those things, your expectations and reality just won't line up, I think. So he's going to just be kind of stashed there until you absolutely need him.
I have a hard time with this one because I really believe in J.K. Dobbins, but I also believe that Tyler Badie brings an element to this team that they've been really wanting at the running back position for a while, and that's a true speed element to be able to run those speed options with Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to say relevant. Now, once again, I don't think that even though the comp to Ray Rice is like outside of draft capital is scary, like same size, same measurables, same combines. Like there was a lot of things that were similar, and now they're on the same team, which is even funnier. But I don't know that he'll be able to replicate and be as good as Ray Rice, but I do think that he's an option in this offense that they've been wanting for a while. And so even though I do think it might not be a ton of work this year, I think next year is when we'll really start to see him take big leaps in this offense. Let's do one last player. Khalil Shakir, Boise State wide receiver, went to Buffalo. I don't remember who started last time, but Chev, go ahead. What do you think about Khalil Shakir?
So the sad part about talking about this is Porkman, who's a co-host on the Dynasty Rewind, I texted him, oh man, I think the Bears are going to draft Khalil Shakir right here. 2 seconds later, I kid you not, they trade the pick to Buffalo, and who does Buffalo take? Khalil Shakir. So my heart is torn. I really like Khalil Shakir, man. He's in an offense that all their wide receivers are on 1-year deals, or their deals are not very great. So, I mean, a lot of these guys could be gone moving forward in 2 years. And I love Khalil Shakir. I think he's got a good opportunity there. And I want to if I'm going to take a dart throw on these late round guys, I want it to be with a good quarterback. So you got Josh Allen, the best quarterback in the NFL. All they have to do is give him the ball. They made Gabe Davis relevant for a playoff game. So I think they can do something with Khalil Shakir as well. So I'm going to say relevant.
All right, Mike.
I'm going to agree, and I'm going to say relevant as well. He's going to fill that Emmanuel Sanders type role that was there, pretty good. I know Jamison Crowder came in. Chev, like you said, 1-year deal. Stephon Diggs is locked up for a little bit. Gabe Davis still on his rookie contract. So, yeah, this year, no. But in 2 years, definitely. Definitely, he's going to be relevant. I think he's going to be the slot underneath guy. And look, these AFC wide receivers, you got to throw the ball a lot in the AFC to score, man. The AFC is going to be a murderer's row to get in the playoffs. So I am not worried about volume at all for any of these Bills wide receivers.
Yeah, we're gonna make this one 3 for 3. I love Shakir. I think he was very underrated during the draft process. And one of my comps was Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was another guy that didn't get the draft capital that I thought he was going to get. I thought he was going to be a late second, early third round guy. He ended up falling to the fourth last year. Shakir, I thought he was going to be a late third, early fourth. He fell to the fifth. But I think he's another guy, incredible hands, can make all the plays, very intelligent receiver, and does a lot of good things after the catch as well. So I'm excited to see him in this offense. You mentioned Emmanuel Sanders. I could see him doing a lot of the stuff that Cole Beasley did in the past as well. High volume, get a lot of catches. I think that would be great in this offense. Well, guys, I genuinely appreciate you guys both coming on. Before you get out of here, tell us what you guys have going on. Tell us where we can find you. Anything that you want to plug that you're doing right now. Chev, go ahead, and then Mike will have you close up.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you where my stuff's at. It's at Chev Boyardee, boy with an I, on Twitter. Don't really do too much on any other platform, but I'll let Mike talk about the Dynasty Rewind and what we have going on over there.
Yeah, if you want to follow me for some reason, if you like people that hate Jalen Hurts, you can follow me at Rewind CEO. I would much rather you follow the podcast account at Dynasty Rewind. Check out our YouTube channel. Got tons of great stuff dropping pretty much 7 days a week. Our audio pod drops Wednesday morning, technically late Tuesday night, but Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, we're out. So when you're done listening to the nerds, you could listen to us. Hope to see you there.
Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, taking the time out. I know you guys are both busy men, so I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for turning into the Dynasty Nerds YouTube page. We've got tons of content coming out, all kinds of stuff on YouTube, a couple more interviews coming out over these next couple weeks that I know you will enjoy. Have a great night.